Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is YOMA Ayin Gimel. We're on Ayin Beis, Amud Beis, towards the bottom. Perhaps let's go back to the two dots, 4 lines from the bottom of the Amud. Be'elu nish'olen be'urim v'tumim. Ki asir Rav Dimi. When Rav Dimi came from Eretz Yisrael, Amar, he said as follows: Godim shekayin gadol mishamash behen. Those 8 begodim which the kayin gadol wears when he does avoid in the Beis Hamikdash, mishoch melchama mishamash behen. Mishoch melchama, who is the kayin, takes care of the melchama. He prepares Yisrael for battle. He makes those announcements. Whoever is newlywed should go back home, etc. Don't worry, don't be scared of your enemies. Hashem is with you. So he was the one who prepared the army for battle. He was Meshuach. He was anointed, appointed for the Milchama. So he too is considered some sort of version of a Kohen Gadol, and therefore says Rav Dimi, if he chooses to do avodah in the Beis Hamikdash, he can't suffice with 4 begodim like a Kohen Hedyot. He must wear 8 begodim to do avodah. Meshuach melchama mishamash behen. How do we know this? Shenemar ubigdei hakodesh asher la'aron. Those begodim which are meant to be worn by a Kohen Gadol, by Aaron, yivu lebanav achrav, apply to his children after him as well. The word achrav here, Rashi says, is an extra pasuk to teach us lemisha ba bigdula achrav. It's referring even to the Kohen Meshuach melchama, who occupies a position of authority after Aaron HaKohen, meaning he's filling some sort of kahuna, gedola capacity. He's not really a Kohen Gadol. He's just in charge of the war. But this is some sort of a prominent appointment that a Kohen fills, in which case he's included in this pasuk, and he must wear 8 begodim when he does avoid in the Beis Hamikdash. Masav Rav Ada bar Ava. He says I have a kasha from a brisa which indicates otherwise. So it was either Rav Ada bar Ava, Amrila, some say it was a chacham named Kedi who asked the kasha. The brisa reads as follows. We're speaking about the fact that gedula, a position that one has, it gets passed on to his children, to his descendants, whether it's kingdom, melucha, or kahuna gedola. So when he passes away, it goes on to the son. Perhaps this applies to Meshuach Melchama as well. If he should pass away, perhaps the son takes over his father's position. In the same manner that we say a son of a Kohen Gadol takes over his father's position after passing. Is that so? No, it's not. Talmud Loimar, the pasuk tells us, Shivas Yomim Yilbeshem HaKohen Tachtav Mibanov. The pasuk is speaking about a descendant of Aaron HaKohen who aspires to become a Kohen Gadol. He wears the begodim, the 8 begodim, for 7 days, which inaugurates his kahuna gadol, which allows him to become a Kohen Gadol. So he's taking over his father's position, but the pasuk continues, Asher Yavoy El Oyel Moed, which tells us this concept of passing the kahuna on from father to son only applies in the case of Misha Ro'oi Lovoy El Oyel Moed. Only a Kohen Gadol, who has the ability to enter the Oyel Moed, to do kapara on Yom Kippur, his kahuna gets passed on. As opposed to Meshuach Melchama, doesn't have that ability. He won't wear 8 begodim. He's not a Kohen Gadol. He doesn't come into the Oyel Moed to do avodah Yom Kippur. So his position does not get passed on to his children. End quote. That's the brisa. V'im Isa, now according to you, that even a Meshuach Melchama is meant to wear 8 begodim when he does avodah, Mechsa Chazi, he's also fit and suitable for avodah in the Kodesh HaKadoshim Yom Kippur. He's also somebody who wears 8 begodim. So why does the brisa exclude him from this halacha of having his position being passed on to his children? Amar of Nach Bar Yitzchak, No, of course a Mashiach Muhammad will have to wear 8 begadim during Avodah. Hachik Amar. The Brisa meant as follows. This concept of position being passed on applies to Kol she'ikar mishichasi lo'il mayed. Only to a fellow whose ikar, anointment, and appointment is for the sake of doing avodah el mayed, i.e. a kohen gadol. Yotze says, as opposed to the Mashiach Muhammad, she'ikar mishichasi Muhammad. The main point, the motive, the tachlis of appointing him is for Muhammad purposes. That's his main role. And therefore that type of position, that type of authority doesn't get passed on to his children. So really, technically, he wears 8 begadim if he chooses to do avodah. But that's not his main task. That's not his main role. That's not the reason for appointing him. And therefore he's not included in this halach. Says the Radvaz why. Kahuna Gedolah gets passed on. But this fellow who's a Mashiach Muhammad, he's meant to prepare the soldier for battle. He's meant to be a motivating force. So it's not always that the son has that ability, has the same ability as his father to motivate and inspire the crowd for battle. So that's something that depends. It's something personal. If a Torah says the father was up to it, fine, but it doesn't automatically gets transferred to the son. But again, when it comes to doing avodah, if he should choose to do avodah, even a Mashiach Muhammad is considered somewhat of a kohen gadol, a version of a kohen gadol, and he must wear shmoyde begadim. Meisvei we have a kashma bris on this halach. Mashiach Muhammad eine mishamish loy barba ke kohen hedit. He can't serve with 4 begadim like a kohen hedit. V'loy b'shmoyde ke kohen gadol, nor with 8 begadim like a kohen gadol. He cannot do avodah in the Beis HaMikdash. Apparently, he doesn't have that ability to wear 8 begadim. Unlike Rav Dimi, who tells us that he does. Amalei Abai responds, Elazar mashvasle? Well, what do you mean to say? That he's a zar? He's not a kohen? He can't do avodah with 4 or with 8? It's hard to believe. Why would he be considered a zar? Elo kohen gadol mishum eva. Apparently, really, he's considered like a kohen gadol, and he'll wear 8 begadim to do avodah. But that's minat Torah. Midrabanan, we don't allow it. Elo ki kohen gadol, we don't allow him to wear 8 begadim like a kohen gadol mishum eva. In order to avoid creating a situation of eva, of creating hard feelings and animosity between him and the true kohen gadol, who might feel encroached upon by this fellow. This fellow is competing for my job. So we don't allow him to wear shmoyne begadim like a kohen gadol, ki kohen hedit, and certainly he can't wear 4 begadim like a kohen hedit. Mishum malin b'kodesh ve'maridin. We know that generally when it comes to matters of kedusha, we upgrade. We're malin b'kodesh. We don't downgrade. And since this Mashiach Muhammad is really some type of kohen gadol, he'll wear 8 begadim if he needs to. So we can't just say, well, wear 4 begadim. That's considered a downgrade. But once again, technically speaking, minat Torah, he's like a kohen gadol who wears shmoyne begadim in line with Rav Dimi's halach. It's only with the Rabban we don't allow it. We don't create that feeling of eva. So suppose we have a situation where eva is not applicable, as the Mefarshim say. Let's say kohen gadol passed away. There's nobody's going to feel encroached upon. In that case, certainly, even a Mashiach Muhammad will wear shmoyne begadim. But midrabanan, when there's a situation of eva, we don't allow it. And likewise, he can't go down to 4 begadim either. Malar ma'kodesh ein moridin. As the Taisus Yishanim, forget about ein moridin. We know that a kohen can never be missing begadim. If he's missing begadim, then It says, he's not wearing begadim. Kohen Gadol wears less than his 8 begadim, it's possible. He can't do avodah. So if this Mashiach Muhammad has the same halacha as a Kohen Gadol, as per 8 begadim, then it's pasha that he can't serve as a Kohen Yedid with 4. Chisur begadim, he's missing the required amount of begadim. Says the Tez Yeshanim, what the Gemara means is that even if he loses his Mashiach Muhammad status, he's older, he's unable to go out to battle and to inspire and to motivate, he's no longer considered Mashiach Muhammad. Even now, he can't go ahead and be Ovid Bishbar Ba'ab Begadim. So even though he's not really a Mashiach Muhammad, perhaps he'll say, okay, let's treat him like a Kohen Hedid. Let him wear 4 begadim for avodah. No, you can't. Why? For this reason. Malin b'kodesh ve'emarit doesn't allow you to downgrade. Once this fellow occupied this lofty position, one that requires shmoyne begadim, you can't downgrade him. Allow him to wear only 4 begadim. Amalei Rav Ada bar Ava l'Rava v'haytana the Leslie Eva. So you mean to say, Min HaTorah, Mashiach Muhammad wears 8. Only where when confronted with a situation of a potential Eva, we don't allow it. Midrabban. Take a look at the following Tana, the Leslie Eva. He doesn't subscribe to this competition element. He's not concerned about Eva. Kohen Gadol is beyond that. And still we see V'lo kameshamish. This price that doesn't allow the Mashiach Muhammad to serve with 8 begadim. Apparently, he's not meant to do so in our Torah. The Sani, we have a price as follows. The following is going to be a list of things which are specific to a Kohen Gadol. Dvarim shebein Kohen Gadol, the Kohen Hedid. We have a list of things which differentiate, which set apart the Kohen Gadol from a Kohen Hedid, as follows: Par Kohen Mashiach, upar haba kol mitzvahs. So Rashi takes out some of these words. It's referring to one carbon that the Kohen Gadol would bring if he does a severe avera, something which involves chorus and chatas. He brings a special carbon, a par Kohen Mashiach. So that's something unique to a Kohen Gadol. Upar Yom Kippurim, that's also unique to the Kohen Gadol. Vasir Se'efa, that's the minchas chabitin that a Kohen Gadol brings every day. So of course a Kohen Hedid will bring it on the first day of his avodah as a chinuch, but on a daily basis, only the Kohen Gadol. What else differentiates Kohen Gadol from Kohen Hedid? Lo poireya. Kohen Gadol is not meant to let his hair grow. Rashi says he's not to be megadol seir machmas avelus, as a sign of mourning. Other shittas say, the Rambam say it's unrelated to avelus. He can't have his hair grow too long. The Mepharshim say it's past 30 days. What else? Lo poirem. He's not meant to tear his clothing as a sign of mourning. Aval poirem hu lamata. He can tear on the bottom, v'hedid l'mala. Kohen Hedid is allowed to tear even on top. V'en b'tam l'kroivav. Kohen Gadol may not become tummy even for a close relative who passed away, as opposed to a Kohen Hedid who may. Some say it's a mitzvah for him actually. U'mitzvah al psula. Kohen Gadol is meant to marry a psula. Mitzvah say to do so. U'muzar al almana. He may not marry an almana. U'machzer tzortzeach. If one who killed b'shoigig ends up in a ir miklat, he must wait there until the Kohen Gadol passes away, in which case he's free to leave. That's unique to Kohen Gadol. U'makriv oinen. Even if a close relative passed away today, he may do avoid in the Beis Hamikdash ve'eino echel, but he might actually eat the karbanis. Parsha Shmini there, that Aaron Kohen didn't eat the carbon because they were oinen. Ve'eino chelik. And since he doesn't have a schus to eat today, he can't even set aside for himself a portion of the carbon to be eaten that night. Rashi brings the Gemara. 2 things are connected. If he's royal achila now, he can get a chelik. But since the Kohen Gadol, although he can do avodah, cannot actually eat the carbon when he's in Einan, therefore he doesn't get a portion either. Throughout the year, he can approach the carbon and say, well, I'd like this portion for myself. And just as he can choose one for a portion for eating, he can choose which carbon he'd like to be makriv. He gets first choice. Makriv chelik b'rosh. Umeshamish b'shmona kelim. He serves wearing b'shmona begadim. Upater al tumas migdash ukdashav. We learn from a pasuk that even if he walks into the Migdash Tameh or eats Kashim Betuma, he doesn't bring a carbon, unlike an ordinary person who does. V'chol avoidos Yom Kippurim einan isher selaboy. As we learned throughout the entire Masechta, the avoidos of Yom Kippur need to be done specifically by a Kohen Gadol. So you have a full list of 14, 15 items here which set apart a Kohen Gadol from a Kohen Hedid. These are unique halachas and privileges granted to a Kohen Gadol. You see, once the Shemen HaMishcha was hidden, at the time of Yeshua HaMelech, when he hid it together with the Aron, from that point onward, a Kohen Gadol became a Kohen Gadol by wearing the 8 begadim, Meruba begadim. So all these halachas mentioned apply to a Kohen Gadol whether he was appointed by being anointed with the Shemen HaMishcha, or he acquired his position through Ribu Begadim. Everything except for one thing. We learn this from our pasuk. Chutz mipara ba'al kol mitzvahs. That's the part that he brings if he doesn't have avera. Rashi says the Mashiach Tzibei. Over there, it's only if he was anointed by Shemen HaMishcha. Continues the Brisa. What about a substitute Kohen Gadol? Kohen Gadol became Tameh or Pasul, and he was out of service. In which case, the Skan took over, a substitute, and then the first Kohen Gadol became fit again, was reinstated, and the Mashuach She'avar is now here. Meaning he was appointed, anointed, and now he's over. He's been removed from position. What is his status? Does he retain Kohen Gadol status, or does he lose it? Says the Brisa, actually, generally speaking, he holds on to that status. V'chulan, all these halachas that we mentioned, that apply to a Kohen Gadol, apply to the substitute who has now been replaced by the original Kohen Gadol. So although he's out of service, he still retains that status, except for 2 things that he's not involved with. Chutz miParyam Kippurim Basir Seifa. He doesn't bring a Paryam Kippur because the act of Kohen Gadol brings that. You don't need 2. And likewise, the Asir Seifa, the Mincha brought on a daily basis by Kohen Gadol, there's only one. You don't need another one. So the Mashuach She'avar is not involved with that. Continues the Brisa. What about a Mashuach Muhammad? That's going to be the focal point of our discussion. V'kulon ein nehagos b'Mashuach Muhammad. All these halachas don't apply to the Kohen in charge of the Muhammad, except for very specific personal restrictions. See, he's not really a Kohen for Avodah. He's not a Beis HaMikdash related appointment. He's a battle related appointment. He doesn't have all these halachas, except for very specific things which are personal and apply to him as well. All these halachas don't apply to Mashuach Muhammad, except for those 5 things mentioned in the parsha, where Rashi points out the Mashuach Muhammad is included as well. What are these 5 things? Lo pareya, can't have his hair grow. Lo param, tear his clothing. Lo mitam lekroivav, can't become tamei to a curve relative who passed away. Umutzuv al psula, has to marry psula. Umuzal al amana, can't marry an amana. Umachzer zoretzeach kediv Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, we learn from a pasuk that a Ritzeach will have the ability to leave the Ir Miklat upon the passing of a Kohen Mashiach as well. Mashiach Muhammad as well. No, they hold that a Mashiach Muhammad doesn't have that ability to be master the Ritzeach. Let's just pause for a second and review the Brisa, and we'll see how it pertains to us. So we learned that there were lots of things, halachas, limitations, privileges that apply to a Kohen Gadol. Generally, they apply to a Meruba Begadim as well, except for one thing, the Parakah Mashiach. The Kohen Gadol She'avar, he also retains the Kohen Gadol status as pertaining to most of these items, except for the Paryam Kippur and the Asir Seifa, which he won't bring. But as far as being Meshamish, as far as serving the Beis HaMikdash, he will wear Shmeina Begadim, just like a regular Kohen Gadol. When we speak about Mashiach Muhammad, he's really out of the loop, except for just a couple of things. some restrictions, like pareh, like purim, etc. And when it comes to everything else, and specifically the ability to be mishamish b'shmoinim begadim, he doesn't. He doesn't wear shmoinim begadim when he does the avodah. So what do we see from the brisa? Does the brisa hold of the eva concern that the Kohen Gadol will feel encroached upon, will feel the heat, the competition coming from his counterpart? We don't seem to have that concern in the brisa. Look, just as the Kohen Gadol is shamish b'shmoinim begadim, we allow the Kohen Gadol she'avar to be mishmamish b'shmoinim begadim. We're not concerned about creating a situation of animosity and hard feelings. And still, what does the brisa say? A Mashiach Muhammad does not serve b'shmoinim begadim. What does this prove to us? The reason why a Mashiach Muhammad doesn't serve b'shmoinim begadim is because he's not meant to. So this is a kasha. So the pshat that we presented earlier, right? Rav Dimi tells us that in Torah, a Mashiach Muhammad wears shmoinim begadim. The Gemara tells us, well, midrabanan, he's not going to if there's a concern of eva. Right? Here we have a brisa which doesn't seem to be concerned about eva whatsoever. In fact, we allow the substitute Kohen Gadol, who's no longer serving, who's no longer active, we allow him to wear shmoinim begadim as well, in addition to the active and serving Kohen Gadol. There's no concern of eva. And still, we don't allow Mashiach Muhammad to wear shmoinim begadim. Apparently, it's because he's not meant to, but not Torah. There's a kasha on Rav. Answers the Gemara. Ki leslie eva b'dechavasei. Sure, we're concerned about eva, but there's no eva when Kohen Gadol is confronted with somebody who's of equal stature, of equal status, such as the Kohen Gadol she'avar, who already acquired the position of Kohen Gadol. He served as a Kohen Gadol in the Beis Hamikdash. So the active Kohen Gadol doesn't view him with suspicion. Doesn't feel like he's trying to encroach on him. He deserves it. He earned his status. He's equal to me. It's equal to him. So there's no eva there. But towards the Kohen Mashiach Muhammad, there he has eva. What are you doing here? What are you doing wearing shmoinim begadim? You've been appointed for the battle. You're not a Kohen in the Beis Hamikdash. This is not where you belong. So there, he feels the competition. He feels the eva. So of course the concern is eva. Why we're not concerned about the Kohen Gadol she'avar, his substitute? Because he views him as an equal. And doesn't have any hard feelings towards him wearing the shmoinim begadim, as opposed to Mashiach Muhammad, who he doesn't see him as deserving of the shmoinim begadim. So there's a concern of eva midrabanan, therefore we don't allow it. But of course, in Torah, a Kohen Mashiach is meant to wear shmoinim begadim. Yosef Rabbi Avo v'ka'amar l'lahashmat mishmei Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Avo was sitting, and he said over this halacha. Which halacha? That a Mashiach Muhammad wears shmoinim begadim. He said in the name of Rabbi Yehuda, Ahadrinu, Rabbi Ami, Rabbi Asla Payo. Rabbi Rasi turned around as a sign of disapproval. He disagreed. It can't be. It can't be attributed to Rabbi Yehuda. We disagree. There was another version of what happened. Rabbi Bar Abba, Amra, he was the one who presented this halacha named Rabbi Yehuda. And once again, Vadrinu, Rabbi Ami, Rabbi Asla Payo. They turned around in protest. Mas Gazarapap. Rabbi had a kash. I understand, and I seem to concur with the first version of events. I understand why, in that case, they didn't overtly protest. They just turned around as a sign of disapproval. Misham Yikud Kessler. Ravo was close to the authorities, to the Kessler and Bavel. So, on account of Kavod HaMelech, they didn't want to verbally contradict what he said. They just turned around to indicate their disapproval, but that's it. Elo Rabbi Bar Abba. But if it was Rabbi Bar Abba who presented this halach, Why wouldn't they just protest? Why don't they just oppose what he said straight out? They should have told him. You know what? Rabbi Yechon didn't say this. You've attributed to Rabbi Yehuda incorrectly. So apparently the first version of events is the correct one. Continues the Gemara. So this is Rav Dimi. That Menat Torah, a Kohen Moshoch Mochama, is meant to wish Shmoyim Begadim. So although he's not really meant for the avoid in the Beis Hamikdash, that's not his. That's not the purpose of his appointment. But we learn from a pasuk that he is considered some sort of Kohen Gadol version, in which case he wears Shmoyim Begadim. Kiyasa Ravin, when Ravin came from Eretz Yisrael, he disagreed. Amar, Nishal Itmar. When this halacha was said, which halacha? That Mashiach Muhammad wears Shmoyim Begadim was not with respect to avoiding the Beis Hamikdash. Over there he wears Arba Begadim. It was said in regards to Nishal. So when the king approaches the Mashiach Muhammad, who's wearing Shmoyim Begadim, including the Choshen and the Ephod, which contain the parchment, the Shem Hashem, the Urim V'Tumim, to ask him a war-related question. That's when he was Shmoyim Begadim. That's the purpose of his appointment. He's meant to serve as the general. He's meant to direct the war. So yeah, at that point, when he's needed, when they have to approach the Urim V'Tumim and inquire as to how to proceed with the war, so then he's meant to wear Shmoyim Begadim. But when it comes to avoiding the Beis Hamikdash, that's not his role. That's not what he's meant to do. That's not what he was appointed for. That's not when he's going to wear Shmoyim Begadim. Okay, so let's just summarize. We have Rav Dimi who says, Minat Torah, or Mashiach Muhammad wears Shmoyim Begadim even during Avodah. We have Ravin who disagrees. He says Shmoyim Begadim, that's only when it's a war-related activity. Nishal. But all seem to agree, that Min Rabbanan were concerned about Eva, in which case he won't wear Shmoyim Begadim in order not to create that feeling of Eva and animosity between himself and the acting Kohen Gadol. Tani Amihochi, we have a support to this from our Brisa. Begadim she Kohen Gadol Mishamash ben, the 8 Begadim worn by Kohen Gadol, Mashiach Muhammad Nishal ben. He'll wear it when he's approached with a question presented to the Urim V'Tumim, which is a war-related question. Then he'll wear the Shmoyim Begadim for that purpose. Once we're on the topic of Urim V'Tumim and the question posed to the Kohen Gadol wearing the Urim V'Tumim, we're going to go into great detail. The Gemara is going to elaborate on the different aspects and details of this procedure. Turn it up on Keitzad Shoy'alin. How would you present a question to Urim V'Tumim? It was a very specific procedure. Hashoyel Panav Klapi Nishal. The one presenting the question, he would face the Kohen Gadol who was being asked. So really, technically, the question is presented to Urim V'Tumim. But as we're going to see soon, the Kohen Gadol played a role in accessing the Urim V'Tumim, providing clarity. So he's called the Nishal, the one who's being asked, the one who the question is being presented to. So the Shal stands facing the Nishal. V'Nishal Panav Klapi Shechina. The Kohen Gadol's face is down towards the Shechina, towards the Urim V'Tumim contained in the Choshen. Hashoyel Omer Erdeif Acharei Agdud Hazeh. The Shal presents a question. We have an example here of an actual question presented by David HaMelech. The Amalekim came and attacked the town of Tziklag, and they captured some women, and he wanted to know whether he should pursue them. Erdeif Acharei Agdud Hazeh. So that's the question. Vanishal Omer. And the Kohen Gadol responds by saying, Koyamar Hashem, Alei v'atzlach. Yeah, go up, pursue them, you'll be successful. Rabbi Yehuda ain't tzorach leima Koyamar Hashem. There's no need to say, Koyamar Hashem. Of course, it's coming from Hashem. Ella, rather, all he says is, Alei v'atzlach. Go and you'll be successful. Ein sharlin b'koyel. You're not meant to raise your voice when you ask. Shenamar v'shal loy. It's meant to be softly expressed, directed at the Kohen Gadol. Nobody else is meant to hear. On the other hand, v'loi mahara b'liboy. You can't just contemplate in your heart and present the question to Hashem in that manner. Shenemar v'sho aloi l'fnei Hashem. So although it's l'fnei Hashem, but it's v'sho aloi. It's meant to be directed at the Kohen Gadol. He's meant to hear you. The same manner as we find Chana davening, Shenemar v'chanahim daberes alibo. So on the one hand, she was davening and she was having kavana, but she was expressing the words. She was enunciating the words with her lips. Rashi learns that the fact that we find al piv yetzu, those words mentioned over here, we learn from here, it has to be moitzi the dvarim b'piv. Ein shaylan shnei dvarim ke'echad. Now, to ask two things at once, one at a time. Vim shal, if he did two at once, ein machzirin le'ele echad. He only gets one response. Vein machzirin le'ele rishon. Which one does the Choshen respond to? The first question. Shenemar, hayaskiruni, this was David HaMelech, who approached the Choshen to ask as follows. Shaul HaMelech was pursuing him. He was hiding with the Anshe Ke'ilah. He wanted to know two things. Is Shaul going to attack? Number one. Number two, are they going to hand me over to him? Hayaskiruni bali Ke'ilah biyadei? Are the people of Ke'ilah going to hand me over to Shaul HaMelech? That's number one. Hayirit Shaul? Is Shaul going to come down and attack? Two questions. And what was the response? Only on one. Vayemer Hashem Yerid. He'll come down. He's going to attack. So he only got one response. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? But why did he get a response to the second question? Va'amris, haven't you said, Ein machzirin el rishon? They respond to the first one. David Shaul Shaloika Keseder. You see, because David HaMelech's question was posed out of order. First he should have asked, is Shaul going to attack? And then say, well, are they going to hand me over to him? So since it was out of order, they responded to him in order, meaning to the question that he should have posed first. Now once he realized that he asked out of order, they proceeded with the next part of the question in order. So now that he heard that Shaul is going to attack, he posed the second question. Shenemar hayaskiru bali kiloisi. Are the people of Ke'ilah going to hand us over to Shaul? Hashem responded in the affirmative, yes, they're going to hand you over. So generally it's one question at a time. But if time is short, they have to quickly get two answers. Or some of Harshim say, if the two things are so closely related, then you bunch them together, so you present it as one, and you get both answers simultaneously. This was once again the Gedur, the group of troops, the Amalekim, who captured the people of Tziklag. So he asked Hashem, should I pursue them? Am I going to catch up to them? Am I going to get back the captives? So it was two questions as one. Go run after them. You'll find them, and you'll go ahead and rescue the captives. Although we do find that at times, even a gzera, something negative which is foretold by a Navi, can be reversed. Such as the story with Yoina ben Amitai, V'ninvei ne'apeches, and they did tshuva, and it was reversed. Gzeras urim v'tumim ena chezeres. That doesn't happen by the urim v'tumim. It's absolute. Shenemar b'mishpat urim. So urim v'tumim is related to as mishpat, like a judgment. It's absolute. It's the final word. There's no reversing. Lomar nikra shmon urim v'tumim. Why are they referred to as the urim v'tumim? Urim shemeirin as devreim. Rashi says mefarshim as devreim. They afford clarity with their words. Tumim is because shemashlimin as devreim. The words come true. It's absolute, as Rashi says, ein gzeiros and chezeres. If that's the case, begiv us Binyamin b'pnei ma lo yishlimu. We find that when Yisrael wanted to know whether to wage war with Shevet Binyamin on account of Pelegish Begiva, they presented the question to the Urim v'Tumim, and they went to war based on the response. And they were hit very hard on the first 2 days. So why didn't the words of the Urim Tumim come about? Answers the Gemara. Because the Urim Tumim never said they'll be successful. Rashi learns that the Urim Tumim, Haim is referring to the Urim Tumim, loy bichno. Wasn't the fires to them regarding those first 2 days whether they'll be victorious or not. The Choshen simply responded, Alu Elov, and go wage battle. That's it. And tell them what's going to happen. And the truth is that later on, after 2 days of losing, he went back to Urim Tumim and asked again, should we proceed? Should we go back to war? And this time, Shabichanu, that the Urim Tumim responded with clarity, you're going to win. I'll hand him over to you. His kimu. Indeed, the Urim Tumim acquiesced and conceded and agreed with what they were doing and promised them success. Other Mepharshim learned that Lo Bichnu means the ones who presented the question didn't present it properly. They didn't ask whether they'll succeed. Just, should we wage war? And the answer was yes. But later on, the question included this aspect as well. Are we going to be successful? And the answer was yes. And indeed, that's what happened. Shenemar, Upinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron, Oyimid lefanov. Bayom mahim lemar. And the question was, Ha'isif oid lotzis l'mochamed? Imnei Binyamin achi. Should I continue waging war with Binyamin? Im echtal, or should I cease? And included in this question was, we've been hit hard. We've been losing the battles the last couple of days. Is this going to continue? So it was a two-pronged question. Should I continue? Will I be victorious? Yeah, proceed. Tomorrow, you'll be victorious. Keitzad Nasis. Now, once the question was presented, how did you get your answer? Rabbi Yehuda Amar Botos. There were letters in the Choshen which popped out at you. Mashal learns it popped out in order. Otherwise, how would you know how to combine the letters? So it was this letter, and that letter, and that letter, the way you went to read it. This way you get a clear message. Rish Lakish Amar Mitzdarfos. He goes a bit further. The letters would actually join together. Aidenes, they're joined together and form a word. The Ramban actually learns, there's no machlekes here, Ban Chumash. He says that Urim v'Tumim are two aspects of the Shema Mefarish. Two Shemis, so to speak. First, the Kohen Gadol would concentrate on the Urim, and then on the Tumim. The Urim lit up the letters. Tumim allowed them to come together and form words. So according to Ramban, Rabbi Yehuda is describing one aspect, Botos, so it would pop out or would light up. Rish Lakish is describing the second phase, when the Kohen Gadol concentrated on Tumim and completed the process, and the letters came together and formed a word. Says the Gemara, how can we say that the Urim Tumim can provide any answer to any question? There's no letter tzaddik there. In fact, we had a response with a tzaddik. Just a minute ago, it said, V'hatzel tatzel. We don't find a tzaddik throughout the Choshen. Right? Throughout all the names of the Shvatim, we don't have a tzaddik. Amar of Achbar Yaakov, Shifti Yishurun Ksivsha. There were two additional words, Shifti Yishurun, on the last stone, which included, Amar of Shmuel Yitzchak, Avram Yitzchak V'Yaakov Ksivsha. The names of the Avos were written there on the first stone up on top, which contained the letter Tzadik. The Yerushalmi asks, not only was Tzadi missing, also Ches and Kuf. So this answer provides an answer for that as well. Says the one we're still missing one letter. For the Ksiv Tes, where's the Tes? Amar of Achabar Yaakov, Shifti Yishurun Ksivsha. The last stone, these words will contain Shifti Yishurun, which contains the letter Tes. Says the one, how can you say that the letters were boile, they were mitzdarfos, in which case it would seem you don't really need the Kohen Gadol's input. Right? It just happened automatically. Meisvei, listen to this price. Kol koyin she'enim medava b'ruach hakodesh. U'shchina shayra olav, ein she'alam bay. A kohen who's not of high stature. He can't tap into Ruach HaKodesh. He doesn't express with Ruach HaKodesh. He doesn't have the Shechina share on him. You don't use them to ask the Urim V'Tumim. What's the raya? The whole story of David HaMelech who approached the Urim V'Tumim, and when Evyasar was wearing it, it didn't respond, it didn't work. And that's why he was removed from position, and Tzaddik took over the Kuna G'dayla. Sharei Shal Tzaddik, but also like when Tzaddik was asked, it worked. Because he was deserving of position. Evyasar, on the other hand, he was asked, and it didn't work there. Shana Vayal Evyasar Atoim Kalam. Vayal Evyasar means he was removed from position. Because he couldn't access, he couldn't tap into the Ruach HaKodesh, to the Shechina, which is part of the process of getting a response from the Urim V'Tumim. Says the Gemara, the truth is that the letters would pop out, would combine, but Ken Gadol played a part here. Siyui have a Messiah Badai. Ken Gadol and his position, his tzidkas, assisted the process along. So basically, you would access the Urim V'Tumim via the Kohen Gadol, who facilitated that response. So his Ruach HaKodesh would actually activate the Urim V'Tumim. Some of Farshim learned that, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that the letters popped out, but how would he know how to combine the letters? Yeah, the Kohen Gadol, through his Ruach HaKodesh, would figure out how to formulate those words using those random letters. Continues the Gemara, Ve'in shaylan el lamelech. The Urim V'Tumim were not meant for just personal queries, investment questions. It was reserved for tzibur, for community-related concerns. How do we know that only unique individuals who are community personalities can access the Urim V'Tumim? Amar Avo El Makro. The pasuk is speaking about Yeshua. Yeshua was considered a melech after Moshe Rabbeinu's passing. He was the leader of Klal Yisrael. So Yeshua would stand in front of Elazar, who would access the Urim V'Tumim. The pasuk continues, Lifnei Hashem, Al Piv Yetzu, Al Piv Yavoyu, Hu V'chol Bnei Yisrael Itay V'chol Eid. So the pasuk contains a list of eligible individuals, ones who are afforded access to the Urim V'Tumim. The word "who" is Yeshua, as a melech. V'chol Bnei Yisrael Itay, somebody who is in charge of Yisrael, Zemeshach Muhammad, regarding a war-related question. V'chol Eida, who represents Klal Yisrael, who are considered the Einei Eida, the leaders of Klal Yisrael, who must direct Klal Yisrael throughout Zu Sanhedrin. So all these may access the Urim V'Tumim because they're community leaders and they're engaged in things which affect Klal Yisrael. So we learn from here that it's meant to be used only for community matters. Okay, so let's just summarize the sugya regarding the Urim V'Tumim. We learned that the Shoyal faces the Nishal, who faces the Shechina. You ask, you express it, but direct the voice at the Kohen Gadol, a low voice. You ask only one question at a time. The Urim, they're called Urim because they're meir, they're mefarish, they clarify things. Tumim because it's meskayim, it comes true, it's irreversible. All the letters were there, they would pop out, they would combine, and of course the Kohen played a role in facilitating the response from the Urim V'Tumim. Hadron lach baloi Kohen Gadol. Continues the Mishnah. YOMA Kippurim Aser. As Tosfos explains, up until this point we discussed the Avodos Yom Kippurim, and now finally we're going to discuss the other aspect of Yom Kippur, the restrictions, the Isser V'Heter, the way we're meant to purify ourselves and elevate ourselves from human being status to Malach status in Yom Kippur to achieve Kapar. Yom Kippurim Aser, B'Achilu Shtia, eating and drinking, U'Brachitza, washing, U'Basich, anointing oneself, U'B'Ninas HaSandal, wearing leather, U'B'Tashin Shamit. Says the Mishnah, we have some exceptions. V'Melech, a king, V'Akala, a newlywed, till 30 days after marriage, Yirchatzu Esplem, they can rinse their faces. V'Achaya, a woman after birth, Tinal HaSandal, she's allowed to wear shoes to keep her warm. Divir Belez. Let's go over to Rashi. directly to the left. Yom Kippurim asur b'achilu b'shtia. The Gemara farish. To kol hani ikru inay. All these restrictions are considered inay. They create a situation of discomfort, of pain. V'gam Yom Kippurim heyinum ksivi. We find in the Parsha Yom Kippur 5 mentionings of inay, which correspond to these 5 experiences. V'hani hehavu. It's really only 5. D'shtia b'chal achila. Drinking is included in eating, so it goes together as one. The Mishnah tells us we have some exceptions. Melech. Why? Darke v'shivcha liyas no. A king is meant to present himself royally. It's part of the job. Shenemar. Melech b'yafya. Techzena nechas. He's allowed to rinse his face. V'akala. She also has an interest. Sricha noi. Asher techav bal. She has to present herself properly in front of her husband, at least in the beginning. She has to earn his affection. For the first 30 days, she's considered a kala in this regard. She can wash her face. A woman after birth, tinol sandal. Why? She has to keep warm, keep away from cold. Akulu koi melech v'kala v'chay. It's called Rebbe. We have several exceptions. Melech and kala can rinse, and a chay can wear shoe. Tezer Shana points out, l'chayr it's mashma from the Mishnah, that all the inuyim, aside from achilu v'shtiya, are midrabanan. It's really machlekes rishonim, but he says, look, the fact that we can make exceptions for these individuals, it's indicative of the fact that these are only midrabanan, and therefore we allow it for the melech, v'kala, etc., situations which require rechitza. Continues the Mishnah. So this is Rebbe Lezer's sheet. The Rebbe Lezer. Apparently they hold it's not so important for the melech, kala, and the chaya to engage in these things. We don't allow it. Now, generally speaking, when we speak about Isra Achila, how much is the shear to be considered an Achila? Kazayas. Except in Yom Kippur. Why? Pasuk says we're meant to pain ourselves. V'nisam snashisechem. Experience discomfort. Don't be at ease. And the Chacham established that a sheer kazayas doesn't really put a person at ease. You need more than that to be considered a bittul of inui. And therefore, we increase the sheer when it comes to achila. Ha'oichel keseves hagas. Keseves hagas is a large, a jumbo-sized date. So if one eats food which has that volume, like this date, including the pit, so that much food he ate, food which is equal in volume to a large-sized date with its pit, that's the shir achila of Yom Kippur. That's meyashiv daite, puts him at ease. Somewhat of a filling effect. That's when it comes to food. Vashoisib like lugmav. Or if a person drinks a cheekful of liquid, so that's less than a revius, which is your typical shir when it comes to drinking. Apparently when it comes to drinking, even less than a revius accomplishes that yishuv hadas, and therefore on both accounts he is chayev, and of course the chiv is kares. So even if you hold that all these inuyim asam and ater, that's the Ran shita, but of course kares only applies to achil shtia and osam malacha, but not to the other inuyim. It says the Mishnah kol ichlam mistarvim keseves. All types of foods combined together to the shear of keseves hagasa. So even if he eats a bit of this, a bit of that, but they all total a shear keseves, he's chayiv. Likewise, all liquids can combine together to create the shear of lugmav, in which case he's chayiv. But combining food and drink, that doesn't work. The two pshatim in the Gemara, either because they have different shiurim, or because a little food, a little drink doesn't create that yishuv hadas, which is asr in Kippur. Therefore, there's no chiv kares. Now the Mishnah began with YOMA Kippurim asr, b'achila v'shtir, etc. Asr? Is that it? Anish karasu. At least when it comes to achila v'shtir, this kares. Why does the Mishnah use the word asr? It's more than asr. It's chayiv kares. Amar Rabbi Ila, v'teimer Rabbi Yirmiyah. You know why? We're speaking that he ate less than a shear. Apparently, the Mishnah is speaking el l'chatzi shear. he only did achila. Achila typically means a kazayis, which is less than a required amount for Yom Kippur, which is a kazeves hagasa. In which case, there's no kares. It's aser, but no kares. That works well according to Rabbi Yehuda, holds that even less than a shear is aser. So although malchus or kares or einish only applies to a shear, but Rabbi Yehuda holds, when I see this tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, he learns from Pasuk, even less than a shear is aser. So the Mishnah, which is speaking about less than a shear, uses the word aser. But according to Rish Lakish, who says, less than a shear is mutter. Michael and Meimer. So why does the Mishnah say aser if it's less than a shear? The Itmaz we learned, chatzi shear. Rabbi Yehuda Amar, aser min ha-Torah. Rish Lakish Amar, mutter min ha-Torah. Let's go over to Rashi. Over to the left, about 2 lines down. Lechatzi shear. He had less than a volume of a date. She shear them kippurim. It's not masnisin. He said less than that. So if it's less than a shear, there's no chorus, but there is is. Chatzi shear, says Rashi, doesn't dafka mean half. As we learn further down the Gemara, we learn it from pasuk mikol chayv. Includes even a chatzi shear. So back to the Gemara. We had a kasha. Why does it say Yom Kippurim aser? It should say chayiv chorus. We're speaking less than a shear, which is only aser min ha-Torah. Well, says the Gemara, Hanich l'Rabbi Yehuda. That works according to Rabbi Yehuda, who says it's aser min ha-Torah. El l'Reish Lakish, who says it's not aser. Michael Meimar. So why does the Mishnah refer to it as aser? Moide Reish Lakish she'aser min d'Rabbanan. Although Reish Lakish says there's no ism min ha-Torah, he agrees that the Rabbanan can't have less than a shear. It might lead you to more than a shear. Of course, it's aser. So the Mishnah says Yom Kippurim aser. We're speaking less than a shear. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's aser min ha-Torah. According to Reish Lakish, it's aser midrabban. Okay, time for a brief chazara of today's main points. We had a discussion regarding the status of Mashuach Muhammad. So the Kayin, the semi-Kayin Gadol, who was in charge of the war. He's the motivator. He makes those announcements prior to waging battle. Shaila is, what kind of status does he have when it comes to avoiding the Beis Hamikdash? Rav Dimi says, Min ha-Torah, he wears shmeina begad. Yeah, when there's a situation of Ava, of course we don't allow it. We don't want that situation of that competing entity in the Beis Hamikdash, and therefore he's not meant to wear the begadim midrabanan. According to Ravin, he says there's no din of shmeina begadim. Even ha-Torah, he won't wear shmeina begadim. The only time he wears shmeina begadim is when he's wearing the begadim for the sake of a question being posed for the Urim v'Tumim, a war-related question, and that's when he's meant to get involved with the shmeina begadim in order to receive and respond to that question. So the way Rav Chaim Brisker learns, it's really based on how to apply the pasuk. We began today's daf with a pasuk. Rav Dimi quoted a pasuk, "Ubigdei hakodesh shel Aaron yu lebanav achrav," that the begadim are meant to be transferred over even to the Mashuach Muhammad. So Rav Dimi learns it's referring to Shas Avodah. Ravan learns it's referring specifically to when they present him with a question, a war-related question, when he's went to wear the shmeina begadim. How do you present the question? You face the Kohen faces the Urim v'Tumim, you ask in a low voice, you ask only one question at a time. It's called Urim v'Tumim because they clarify things, and it's absolute, it's the last word, irreversible. All the letters were there, and the letters would pop out, they would shine, they would combine as a word, and of course the Kohen Gadol had a role to play, his access to the Ruach HaKodesh would facilitate that response. We concluded with the Inuyin, 5 in number, which are meant to be experienced in Yom Kippur. The Achila v'Shtiyah and Malacha involve chorus. Although the Mishnah uses the word aser, it's not to mean that Achila v'Shtiyah has no chorus. Rather, as the Gemara says, we're speaking about a chatzi shear, which is aser, either min ha-Torah, according to Rabbi Yehuda, or according to Rish Lakish, min d'Rabbanan. Hasacha Rabbi.